The great game between Arsenal and Juventus is about to start. Both teams are contenders for the Champions League semi-finals. If Arsenal do not qualify, it will also be the last European match at Highbury. The famous stadium will close its doors after this season. For people living on the doorstep of Highbury, this might not be so bad.
We need you to minimise the disruption to the local community. Last season was the first time, I think in the 80 or 90 years the club have been here, when we actually played a game on every day of the week.
The police patrol the street. Their presence is visible, but numbers are low. At the main entrance of Highbury, the streets are blocked to allow easy access for supporters. The game is a sellout. Merchandise is sold on the street. It's only an hour before the start of the match as numbers increase.
The whole ethos that we have is all about supporting the local communities, working in partnership with local communities, working in partnership with the different clubs and the visiting supporters to ensure that the vast majority of law-abiding fans can come and enjoy a festival of football, no matter what event it is, and just separate those risk fans from those non-risk fans. And that's the main structure of our strategies.
We had, as we've previously heard, there is a large TV contingent tonight. The main TV broadcasters are ITV, Sat.1, which is a German broadcaster, Canal+, which is French, and TV3 Denmark.
We work very closely with the police. We talk about the stewarding involvement. We've tried to get the stewards to lead in any issue that they need any issue they need to address. The police do back us up if we need to. If we need to arrest anybody, the police will back us up, and they will also assist in pitch encroachment. They will also back us up and put additional police on the track to facilitate pitch encroachment from happening.
The delegates' briefing is an excellent opportunity to discuss final details of the Juve team's arrival.
After the game, I will go down there and speak with the drivers. I can sort it out.
Okay, happy?
No.
Vai, guarda qua! Dato tifosi di Juventus sono sempre un po' così, tutte le mosse. Io mi devo muovere.
Balloon giveaways, Juventus actually did ask if they could let off some balloons, and we've said yes to that. Black and white balloons, they're going to probably give out around a couple of hundred of them. For those of you that need them, there are pins in your boxes. If you can put them out as soon as possible when they start falling down to trackside, I'd appreciate that.
People often ask me how we do and what we do and how we describe our job, and the ultimate goal and the way we assess whether we've done it is if the spectators can go home in the same condition that they arrive.
While it's clear that the police are in charge, they're also easily approachable for supporters. Mingling with the public allows the police to establish a relationship with them and to open channels of communication.
The safety officer in English football is responsible for everything inside the stadium, unless it becomes a public order issue, in which case the police match commander then takes over. The police match commander's responsibility is to ensure the access and egress, in other words getting the fans in and out of the stadium safely, and supporting the stadium officer in relation to the dynamics within inside the stadium. Professional stadium management to me is all about dynamic risk assessments, planning and preparation. If we've planned properly and we've prepared properly and we've worked in partnership with the local authority, with the UEFA if it's a UEFA game, or with the stadium themselves, we should have the correct resources in place to support the stewards. If we know that we've got risk fans coming, it's having the resources in place to identify them, to locate them, to contain them, and to bring them to those who have got tickets to come in the stadium, so they can watch the game, because ultimately they've got rights and they need to be enjoyed that aspect around it, but also to have a system in place where we can respond quickly, should we need to separate them from the non-risk fans and remove them out to an area, utilising whatever legislation is necessary to allow that to take place.
I'm not convinced everyone is carrying their handbook, so can you stop anyone who hasn't got their handbook and advise us before you let them in, all right? From now until the end of the season, okay?
It may be hard to find your way in a foreign country as an away supporter.
Hey! Hola!
After you've gone through the turnstiles, it's essential to be directed to your seats with the use of clear directional signs. When in doubt, you might be in need of assistance from stewards or police.
Row 5 down the front on your right.
Number 5.
Arsenal club officials anticipate late arrivals because fans might want to stay in the pubs until shortly before the match kicks off.
The alcohol policy is on a Champions League game. There is no alcohol sold in the public areas. So them signs are predominantly put up for our Premiership matches where you're not allowed to drink in view of the pitch. So the sign, so that is an aid for the supporters to let them know beyond that point where they can see the grass they cannot drink. On here there's also, and on the concourse you've got ground regulations posters. Now for supporters that come into the stadium they're on 3 positions. They're in front of the turnstiles, they're behind the turnstiles, and they are halfway along the concourse. So a supporter, even though they don't read them, just by the fact that they've gone past them, accepts the ground regulations. And to get to their seat, most supporters will have to walk past 2 of those ground regulation posters.
Flares again, Champions League, we're common for flares. We've got sand buckets on all the tracks, in the corners. If you see any flares go onto the pitch, obviously the track supervisor or the one closest to that, if you nominate someone on your track for that position, should a flare go onto the track, they need to take that bucket of sand and try and extinguish that flare as soon as possible by putting the sand on the flare. Just reiterate that.
Each turnstile is now searched from outside. That is all steward enforced. The police do not search outside. They are there to assist if there is help needed, but it is predominantly a steward role.
We did have a call to bring in some large banners and overheads, and as you know they are banned and they were knocked back. They were given a no on that, but just so you know they have been asked to, did ask to bring them in and we've said no. Can you check that when you're searching as well?
Rules for searching in the United Kingdom have been reinforced after the London bombings on the 7th of July 2005.
They're not allowing these into the ground, okay? Ground regulations.
At Highbury, the police and the club have separate control rooms opposite each other.
The police match commander's responsibility is to ensure the access and egress, in other words getting the fans in and out of the stadium safely, and supporting the stadium officer in relation to the dynamics within inside the stadium.
The control room is the nerve centre for policing the match in and outside Highbury. Hundreds of police officers are part of the communication system directed by dispatchers. The police share the control room with St John's Ambulance Services. When an emergency response is needed, maps and planning boards are indispensable. When offences are spotted, police and stewards may respond quickly. The information recorded from the cameras may be crucial evidence in the criminal prosecutions of people arrested.
We've got very extensive closed-circuit television, which means you can monitor what's happened. They're identified by the stewards, they're picked up, they're taken away and they're arrested. And normally that's done very visibly. If you take a visible arrest, then it tends to prevent people from doing it in the past.
The steward operations require discipline and clear routines, as Sharon explains.
And they will stand up in response to a goal or exciting incident or a penalty, and also stand up at half-time and again at full-time. About 10 minutes before the end of the game, we redeploy additional stewards down to the track to give a steward wall to protect any pitch encroachment from the fans.
The segregated sector for visiting fans is close to the adjacent Arsenal sector. After the match, fans provoke each other. But police and stewards perform a controlled sweep of the sector. Another safe match at Highbury can be noted in the records.